join us. And I don't know where she's going to be joining us, if it's in her office or what. But anyway, she'll be here just a little bit late.
All right, sounds good, Commissioner Willie. So you have your collection of commissioners, so I will turn it over to you.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for joining us this Tuesday morning. You have the B team this morning. The chair is with us on vacation, but has opted to join us. So thank you very much for that. We have on this meeting right now, of course, we have Commissioner Roy Rogers, Nafisa Fai, Chair Catherine Harrington, and myself. And again, Pam will be joining us later. So with that, just to call out too, we have our agenda this morning for the work session has added ARPA annual report at as of August 1. So we need to make sure we allow time for that as we go into our 10 o'clock board meeting. So with that, open it up for leadership, board and leadership communication. Who wants to jump in there? Go ahead, Chair.
Can I go first since?
You get to go first. I think that's totally appropriate. Right.
We'll mix it up for a change. So on Friday, I participated in the second onboarding meeting of the Tri-County Planning Body of the Metro SHS measure and Supportive Housing Services measure. And much of the meeting was spent on reviewing the measure provisions for the Tri-County Planning Body and the purpose of the Tri-County Planning Body and next steps. So other than that, I left on vacation on Wednesday, and here I am zooming in from Maine currently. I'll be off to New Hampshire tomorrow. So yeah, so enjoying vacation. Thanks to the team for setting things up so that virtual attendance like this from away can happen. Thank you.
Absolutely, Chair. Thanks for joining us. And by the way, turn off your Zoom for a couple of weeks, will you? And just relax. Do that. Enjoy that East Coast. It's okay. Who else?
I can go next. It doesn't look like Commissioner Roger is moving to reach his Zoom mute button, so I'll do it. Good morning, everyone. Chair Hunting, good luck with your vacation, and I hope you have a great one. In terms of my update, I'll start with AOC. I attended a joint meeting for AOC meeting that was really about Measure 110. We had a presentation from the Secretary of State's office to give us a progress update on the audit that is in the process. And they are in the field work stage of that work and expected to produce the final report in the fall of 2022. So stay tuned on that. As soon as that report gets released, I'll send it. We'll send it your way. With that meeting, the remainder of the presentations really talked about opportunities and challenges of Measure 110, and it sort of focused on from the perspectives of addiction and peer support, community mental health programs, and the criminal justice system, and service providers. It was really a robust discussion, and I really enjoyed it, and more to come on that. The rest of my update will sort of be around transportation, so hang in there with me.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
On the Measure 110, do you foresee, with what we know today, that our opening up of the Center for Addiction Treatment and Triage will help address some of those opportunities and challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. In the short,
good.
Yeah, absolutely. In the way the conversation was centered and some of the feedbacks, yeah, absolutely. Even though, yeah, definitely. That was an easy question to answer, Chair Harrington. Thank you. Um, so in terms of shifting gears, I attended MPAC, which is the Metro Policy Advisory Committee. This is the committee that advises the Metro Council. Commissioner Pantries is actually the primary designee from our board on that committee, and I'm the alternate. And last week, Commissioner Trees took a vacation and I had the opportunity to attend. The July meeting was fairly an easy one. Their agenda, they had part of their agenda was focused on a wonderful panel of experts from Multnomah County and community-based organizations that predominantly service residents in Multnomah County. And they sort of shared their best practices around and prevention strategies and what they have observed, some of the factors that led people to become homeless, and how they have been collaborating. So that was a really good experts or a panel to hear from what's happening in our neighboring counties, and look forward to hearing more about other counties in terms of regional and what gets produced from those conversations. So stay tuned. I did ask the question at the committee if folks in that committee will have an opportunity to hear from both from Washington County and from Clackamas County. And it looks like some of that work is still in the works. And so Commissioner Pantries will update us on how that conversation unfolds, especially from our side and how we present our best practices around homelessness and the pandemic. The rest of the agenda for MPAC was on transportation, which the next day we had a JPAC, which was on transportation. The workshop was focused on. So I'll shift gear. The conversations from MPAC to sort of center around the conversation from JPAC. And around transportation, there are three big topics being talked about in transportation circles. One is the draft Oregon Highway Plan toll policy amendment. Basically, the policy hasn't been updated since 2012. And as you all know, a lot has happened since then, including the rulemaking process for I-205 toll rate setting, which is scheduled to take place this fall. So it's which is one driver of the need to update that policy. The Oregon Transportation Commission are the decision makers on approving the amendment. There has been a public comment period that's been scheduled to end actually yesterday, but Odot was kind enough to extend to September 15th rather than August 1st to give more time to anybody out there who wants to comment the amendments before they adopt and approve. I plan to connect with Chris, our transportation staff, and Chris to discuss the best path for our board to give comments to that amendment.
Whoops. Are you guys all still here? Or
Yeah, we're all here. I think we lost Nafisa.
Okay.
We'll just give it a minute. Okay. Why don't we, well, we wait, because she's probably going to have to reconnect. Rory, you want to jump in here? And when Nafisa comes back, we'll let her continue.
Not a lot to report. Last Friday had a meeting with the Tualatin Chamber leadership, and we're on transportation. Surprise, surprise, they're interested in tolling. Last night was the ACT meeting. One thing for you, Jerry, that I think would be something that maybe you need to take out to the rural folks. There is a Western Federal Lands Access Program, and I don't know a lot about it because it's more in the urban area, and you may know something more. But there's a bit of money. And I know Hood River County is interested in it, and Clackamas County. Multnomah a slight bit because most people forget that they have a lot of federal land up on Mount Hood as well as in the gorge. But you might take a look at that for your area. It sounds good. They discuss great streets. That's just an update, and they discuss the urban mobility and the ADA update, which says it's going to be about 5 to 7 years and many millions over budget to try to do ADA improvements. But we also chatted a bit about tolling. Mandy Putney and Garrett Pryor were both there. You may all know them. I've known them for a long time, and there is a lot of interesting dialogue going on. And so this discussion is taking a lot of different routes from different groups, and it's interesting to hear from different areas of the state what their thoughts are. So anyway, that's it principally. I will be here next Tuesday, and unlike Catherine, who's a warrior and comes back on, and I'm going to be many time zones away in Europe, so I won't hit the next 2 meetings after that. So that's my update.
All right. Thank you, Roy. Enjoy your time away, certainly. Pam, I'm going to come to you in just a minute. Nafisa got
I'm so
locked
sorry.
out and so needs
Yeah.
to finish her report because there's some good information that you were giving us there, Nafisa. So please continue. Oops. I think we lost her again. So
Go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead, Pam. I think my computer is acting up. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Sorry. Let's try again. Where did I leave off? My internet sort of shut down.
I-205 process this fall.
Okay, perfect. So the highway toll plan, toll policy amendment. So the Oregon Transportation Commission is the decision makers on that. What I was going to end with that topic is to say the public comment period has extended. Odot was kind enough to extend it to September 15th. It would have actually ended yesterday. So I'm going to connect with our transportation staff to discuss the best path forward as a board for us to give comments about the suggested amendments. So stay tuned on that. More to come as Chris and I and Brenda to connect. The other, it might sound like I'm rushing, but just in case my internet beats me to the punch, I'm gonna try to speed up. The other big topic that I've been participating around is I was able to connect back in tail end of Commissioner Rogers' report out, but the ODOT's draft low income toll report, and this is actual requirement for ODOT is required to deliver to the Oregon legislator this report in the fall. And it's a really extensive report. I would love to have Brenda send it to you. And if you have any comments or anything, let us know. It's basically creating an opportunity to have a discussion more about what does a significant discount look like for folks who are under the 200% poverty federal poverty level versus a smaller discount for between folks who are between the 200% and the 400%. And then a lot of discussion about the certification process. One of the questions I have, just full transparency, is the penalty and what model that will be considered. And then the method and payment structure. So more to come. If you have any comments, please send it to Chris or myself, and we'll make sure to get it to ODOT. And then the third topic that was really the focus on JPAC's workshop last Thursday is the draft metro congestion pricing policy language. And during the JPAC work session, we sort of broke into a smaller group, which then had an opportunity to expand and connect with other folks. But the focus was really to review the language and have a robust discussion representing the regions that each of us represent, and to talk about, what's missing in this language and what do we like about this policy. And we're going to have more discussion. I think we didn't really get to um, the heart of dissecting the policy language and actually taking a step back and saying, how do we actually feel about the actual language without getting stuck in the semantics. But so more to come on that, JPAC. I think what the group shared, JPAC, is, we have the highway plan, toll policy amendment, and then we have the low income toll report, and then we have the metro congestion pricing policy suggested. So all of those are really connected, yet they're each sit on their own island to sort of say. So I think it's a real challenge out there, and sort of a unintended confusion that comes about that when you read one report, you're sort of taking that lens and applying it. So a lot of people had a hard time reviewing the congestion pricing, the metro policy language, without really considering without leaving the language in the low income report or the other highway toll plan. So a lot of confusion, but a lot of great discussions. One thing that I'm really excited about all these discussions is marginalized communities and equity and people who are really going to be impacted, and how we need to be really cognizant about the language that we use so that we don't create folks that we're othering unintentionally, is at the center of these conversations. So it's really exciting, and I can't really wait what we come up and what the next future of transportation looks like, because people are really cognizant of saying, well, is this the right language we're using, or are we really othering folks unintentionally and creating certain peoples around when we talk about who has cars and who doesn't, who will use the roads. And so exciting work around transportation. If you ever have a question about all this, please feel free to contact me or Chris. Sort of my point person right now to go to for Brenda and I, but we'd be happy to have conversations, and I'll end right there and just say more to come on transportation stuff.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Nafisa. That's a great report. Pam, you're next.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you all. I am just back from vacation, so I don't have much of a report for last week. I did attend, and I think maybe it was mentioned earlier, Nafisa, I attended the Odot opening or the groundbreaking for the Abernathy Bridge. I think it was good to have a couple people there from Washington County, so that was a good opportunity. Jerry, did you talk about Dr. Cho this morning? Okay. That's why I was a few minutes late, and I'm sure Jerry let you know that. But Jerry and I both attended the meeting this morning with our housing group and representatives from HUD, which included Dr. Cho. It also included Margaret Salazar, who's the regional HUD director, and Brian Guinea, who is the field officer. So it was our opportunity to showcase what's happening in Washington County around our all of the work that we're doing in housing. And it was, I wish you all had been there, because it was so great to see the reflection of our programs and the work that the staff has done on the faces of the HUD individuals. They were so pleased to see the work that's going on here, the coordinated approach, the fact that equity is a piece of everything that we do. It was very well received, and the message that I heard from them about moving forward is that we should be working on communicating the great work that's going on here. That would be helpful to them, and in terms of showcasing a place where we are working on the tactical piece first, making sure that we are prepared at the ground level for everything that's going on, and the implementation is underway as well. So it was it kind of made me bust a few buttons. It was cool this morning. So I really don't have anything else to report.
Thanks, Pam. That was excuse me. That was a great recap of what we heard this morning. I too was very impressed with our staff, and it was good to hear kind of a consolidated, concise report of certainly all the things that they have been able to accomplish in just a couple of short years. So we have a lot to do there, but we have a lot to be proud of already. So thank you for that. So from my standpoint, my report, first things first, I need to say to you, Tom Carr, that I apologize for my tirade last week. My communication with you was unacceptable and unprofessional, and I want to just say to you and your staff, I apologize for that, and I will certainly work hard not to repeat that ever again. So
thank you, Jerry. We were both tired, and I think it showed for both of us. And I apologize too.
Thank you. On a much better note, the fair, of course, ended this last Sunday, and so our 10-day fair, we, of course, endured many days of high 90s and 100-degree heat, so we had to modify certainly the opening time from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, extended the closing time from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and everybody really had to adjust to certainly how to deal with the heat. With all of that said, it impacted our attendance. Of course, our attendance was down about 14%. We still managed to have about 150,000 people there. So it was a very good, well-attended event. I know, Nafisa, you made it there a couple of times with your kids, and there was it was fun times. Leah sent us a little bit of a recap, and I know that she'll do a better job when she makes a formal report, but food sales were up 23%. Carnival sales were down 6%. No surprise, alcohol sales were up. And of course, related to the attendance, parking was down. And so, excuse me, with all of that, we just wrapped up a great fair. The fair board, the last 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, provided pancake breakfast for all the 4-H kids, and it was amazing. I bet we had 150 people every morning show up for that. 4-H is doing a great job. Alan is doing a great job leading that program, and so we have a lot to be proud of there and look forward to. But it was a great fair. Thank you to Leah and certainly her staff and all the hard work they've done. And yeah, we'll look forward to that report coming in the Fair Board meeting next month. Lastly, Mark, I want you to convey for the commission and all of us, certainly our thoughts and prayers to Diane for her mother. We appreciate the email she sent out, and we're just, we're thinking about her and her mom, and so please give her our best. Okay?
I certainly will.
And with that, I'm going to move on to Tanya.
Thank you, Vice Chair Willie. And just of note, I'm wondering if Chair Harrington had technology issues. So if Clerk Moss could just watch for her to rejoin. So first, I'd like to provide this week's update with the Heatwave update. First, we made it through the week. Our Washington County Emergency Management continued to work response to the heat wave throughout last week and over the weekend. Over the last 4 nights, a combined average of 45 individuals and a few pets took refuge in 2 cooling shelters, one in Beaverton and another in Hillsborough. With improved overnight temperatures in the forecast, both overnight shelters closed yesterday morning on Monday, August 1st. In addition, 20 different libraries and other facilities provided daytime relief and hydration, in some cases with extended hours. We're truly grateful to staff with the county and our partner organizations for their very quick efforts in responding and opening up these overnight cooling shelters. I do want to share with you, some counties have reported heat-related fatalities already, but our medical examiner is still in the process of assessing these data for Washington County. For example, a death did occur on July 21st, and that was just prior to the onset of the highest temperature. So our medical examiner is still examining these causes. I just wanted to provide that note to you because that has been a concern that I've heard from your board of wanting to ensure that we are protecting lives of our community members and safe access to shelters and cooling locations. I want to take a moment to celebrate Washington County's publishing of ARPA's first annual report. This is an annual report on the activities that your board has asked that we implement with our ARPA funds. This has been submitted to the U.S. Treasury over the weekend. The report provides a careful overview of the county's equity-centered use of our federal dollars, all within the framework of the values and principles that your board adopted last fall. Staff members across the Washington County organization have been working intensively over the last 2 months to go above and beyond the minimum requirements for this first annual report. Staff will highlight the report's content in our pandemic recovery newsletter and social media postings throughout the summer. In addition, I meet with the city managers, special district managers, and I have asked that this be added to the agenda for any discussion by that group. A link to the report can be found in your work session agenda, and I posted it there in addition to the Washington County website, so that possibly can be easy access for community members who may have interest in this information. Huge kudos to staff. This is once again demonstrating we truly are a one Washington County in response to this global pandemic. And that concludes my weekly update.
Great. Thank you very much. Tom, I think you're up.
Thank you, Vice Chair Willie. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to appear in court and argue for the county in Ridwell against Washington County, and I'm pleased to report that Judge Sims has dismissed the case, granting our motion and denying Ridwell's. That, of course, I expect an appeal, but for now, the two judges who have looked at Ridwell's challenges have rejected both of them. So the Recycle Plus program is fully in effect and functioning, and Ridwell, as I understand it, was going to operate for 30 days without charging, and that would have ended over the weekend. So we think that Ridwell is no longer operating in Washington County, although I don't know that for a fact. Tim Snyder from Stoll Reeves represented Pride Disposal, who had intervened in the case, and he also argued. We're filing an order. The Ridwell will then have 30 days to decide whether or not to appeal. And yes, Chair Harrington.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Per our work, I may have heard you incorrectly, but I think you meant to say Ridwell should no longer be operating in the urban, unincorporated, and rural areas of Washington County, correct?
From a legal standpoint, that's correct, Chair Harrington. However, Ridwell has said that it's not economically feasible to just serve the other areas of the county. So they had told the court that if the court did not rule in their favor, they would no longer be able to operate in Washington County from an economic standpoint. So I apologize, I should have been clearer.
No, I follow. I just wanted to make sure that it was their decision whether and city councils to decide about operation in the city. Thank you.
Yes,
My confusion. Thank you.
Sorry. Turning to the back litigation, our motion to suspend, as you know, Judge Irwin entered an injunction suspending our tobacco ban, our failure tobacco ban. That injunction is still in place. We have moved to dismiss that case. The motion to dismiss will be heard on September 19th. And to emphasize, Judge Irwin made no findings on likelihood of success in the merits. He just said since the county had no active enforcement, he saw no harm from issuing an injunction while the motion for to dismiss was considered. I'd also like to report that almost everyone, all the lawyers in our office, attended the Oregon County Councils Association annual conference in Redmond, Oregon last weekend. No, Thursday and Friday last week. It was an excellent conference. We're required to take continuing legal education, so this is a good way to do it. And also, all 36 counties are represented. It's a good opportunity to interact with our peers. And I'm proud to say that two of the presenters were Washington County Council employees. Robert Bovet did an excellent presentation on drug policy changes by the legislature and Measure 110. And Elmer Dickens did his usual fabulous dive talking about all the police reform legislation that has come forward and the counties, what the counties need to do to adapt to that. Both excellent, very well received presentations. And if anyone would like copies of the PowerPoints, I'm happy to provide them because they are really excellent sources of material. Thank you. I have nothing further.
Thank you very much, Tom. And Mark, you're up.
Thank you, Vice Chair Willie and members of Clean Water Services Board of Directors. Thank you. I will pass on your well wishes to Diane and her family. We've been in pretty regular touch with her. One piece I wanted to report to you is last week at the National Association of Clean Water Agencies annual conference, we were notified that our Rock Creek and Durham water resource recovery facilities both received something called a Platinum Award. And that's an award for no permit violations for at least 5 consecutive years. In the case of Rock Creek, it's been 18 years. To put this into context, we have nearly 1,000 permit conditions that we have to meet on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So it's really the entire organization pulling together through varying weather conditions and things like that to be able to do this, to make it the entire year. Very difficult, very complex. Everybody really, really pulls for it. So it's a tremendous honor. For them to do that. There was only 161 facilities in the U.S. that were recognized by the National Association of Clean Water Agencies last week. The formal kind of awards presentation will come later, but I just want to give you all a heads up because we're very proud of it. So that's all I have to report.
Mark, wasn't that, didn't we also receive that award when we were in WEFTEC in, what was that, 2019? The only time we've been able to attend since we've been on the commission. But it seems to me that that was quite an award ceremony as well. And so was that the same award?
Actually, that was something called the Utility of the Future Today, which looks at different performance measures, but it is done by the same organization, the National Association of Clean Water Agencies.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. That's a great accomplishment. And yeah, we're all proud of Clean Water Services and certainly what they provide for our community.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Vice Chair Willie, I did receive the okay that I can provide a brief staffing update since you and Commissioner Treese had both raised communications in our housing department. As your board may recall, last year we added the housing department's first communication staff member, Emily Roots. And I'm really pleased to say that we have completed the hiring process of our second communication specialist in housing. And he starts on August 11th, and his name is Hamid Al Nassar. So I hope that I pronounced that correctly, Hamid, and we look forward to joining you. As heard from the commission and community, not only doing proactive communications on the work we are doing, and also helping with community engagement efforts is incredibly important for this 2-member team. Structurally, the team members are reporting to Philip Bransford in the County Administration Office to help ensure we do have a coordinated communications structure as we continue to evolve that team moving forward in the future.
Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate that. Anything else? If not, we still have about, yes, Chair, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just had a couple of comments or questions on our formal agenda for a meeting this afternoon that I thought might be useful for me to raise here.
Okay,
On the consent agenda on item C9, it's related to Care Oregon providing funding for the CAT. And as I was reviewing that, I realized we've had presentations at our work session, certainly, but I don't know when the staff will be providing a presentation in our business meetings to help ensure that the public knows about the significant progress towards that major project. And, there was an announcement recently by Multnomah County recently, and I was like, well, we already do that. So I thought I would just ask that here. I'm not suggesting that you have to take that off the consent agenda today and add it. I just wanted to note that so that Ms. Angie, you and staff can chew on that and see what you would like to do. But I think we have to toot our horn a little bit more publicly. That's all on that one.
Thank you for raising that, Chair, and I'm already hearing back from staff that they will get that scheduled because there is a lot of exciting progress on weaving funding sources to make this vision a reality for our community.
Terrific. Then on item C14, which is related to the Aloha Inn, really great work. I think, yeah. I want to verify, and I don't have the packet open, so I think it's C14. But I just wanted to verify, with the various affordable housing projects, it's unfortunate, but the price of steel, concrete, labor, wood products, that's all, every fixture, prices have been going up. And the team's been doing tremendous work in problem solving that. I have really appreciated the architectural renderings of that building. And I just want to make sure that and verify that with cost increases, that the outside improvements, and that includes the new paint job as pictured, that all of that will still be implemented. Because the outside aesthetics of the building are really meaningful to the community, surrounding community, and the community at large. So I just figured it was an opportune time for me to raise that. And then on the last one, item C15, which if memory serves me right, it's on, oh gosh, what's the name of the place? Not Glen something. It's the affordable housing place on South.
Chair Goldcrest Apartments.
Yes, thank you.
Yep, and for members of the public, you were correct. It was item 14, and this item is the following item 15.
Yep. I just wanted to extend my thanks to the team for really exhausting every funding opportunity to try and maximize the voter-approved bond funding for affordable housing. I mean, it just goes to show what an experienced, dedicated team we have, lifting every grant rock, if you call them that, to look underneath to say, hey, could we qualify for that? That takes work, that takes persistence, and it takes expertise. And I just wanted to say thank you. So that's all for me. Nothing, no need to take anything off the agenda. I just wanted to share those few items. Thank you, Vice Chair Willie.
okay. Thank you, Chair, for your thoughts on that. Tanya, looking at the clock, we have about 20 some minutes. do we have time to have the ARPA annual report?
So I was not planning to give a formal presentation on the ARPA annual report. I merely just wanted to raise that for awareness for the public and also your board today.
Yeah, and we had, the chair and I had that provided to us earlier. That is an excellent recap. So I would encourage certainly the commissioners to go through that and look at that to see what accomplishments we've been able to do. And it's a great report. So, okay, thank you for that. So not having anything else, we are going to take a 20-minute break. And we will reconvene at 10 o'clock for both the Housing Authority Board and our Board of Commissioners. And it'll be on a different Zoom link. So with that, I'll see you in 20 minutes. Thanks.